Well, from my standpoint, because I try to look at it from, every angle, golf's gotten easier not because of the golf ball.
Right.
Why are we not talking about, how wide the fairways have gotten on the PGA Tour, how short the rough has gotten, how manicured the fairways are.
I was going to
How
ask.
firm and fast. Firm and fast is easy for better golfers.
Oh yeah. Well, are there other ways that the USGA could solve these issues?
Yeah, and that's what I want to bring up, because the USGA is saying every course is having to add length to preserve the course's original design, right? The courses that aren't even worried about money are going to do that anyways. Augusta was going to lengthen 13, whether there's a rollback or not.
Right.
Pinehurst number 2 is going to lengthen their golf course because they have the money. It doesn't matter. So the USGA to come out and say that courses essentially can't keep up and it's ruining the designs, well, it's like you're going to the 1% of golf courses that already have the funds to do anything they want to do to that golf course.
Right.
So you're you're doing something that doesn't exist.
You're creating your own narrative.
Exactly.
Especially with the rounds being the highest they've ever been.
Yeah.
Which means revenue is probably the highest it's ever been.
I think if you go back, and we'll use U.S. Opens as our example, since this is a USGA event. If you go back and look at U.S. Open course setup from the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, one that really sticks out to me is Winged Foot when Jeff Ogilvy won, and was that 06?
I think so.
Because 05 was Pinehurst, and that was Michael Campbell. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It was in the mid-2000s. Golf course setup for U.S. Opens then was we're going to make the golf course, the rough extremely long, and the fairways are very narrow. If you hit it 1 foot out of the fairway, good luck finding your ball or advancing it.
Right? I mean, that's how Wingfoot was.
Exactly. No, but they still had not too long after that Wingfoot event there, they switched to, they had multiple cuts of rough.
No.
Right? So you still have your really deep rough, but it's off the fairway. There's a stretch of rough of 5, 10, 15 yards wide that's cut down fairly short.
Well, when have you seen a PGA Tour event be played other than last weekend because the weather, right? Wet with the weather, John Rahm hit a drive that went 260 yards at the Masters, right? We don't have a golf ball shoe. But when have you seen the PGA Tour play a regular event where the ball's not rolling out 40 yards? Slow the fairways down.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Grow some grass.
Yeah.
Not every, we don't. Yes, the consumer loves the long ball, right? But they're creating this narrative based off their own setups, right? You can slow the course down, narrow in the fairways, grow rough, and make the fairways a little longer. Yeah. And biggest thing is, right, because if we play out of a fairway that's a little longer, it brings another variable into the equation of you could get that occasional flyer. Yeah. Right? That's now another thing a player has to worry about.
Yeah.
Right? And what's the number one thing that makes professional golf the greatest thing ever? Each player has their own individual battles.
Right.
Not every lie is the same. Not every putt's the same. Not every tee shot's the same.
You have the rub of the green.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's making professional golf challenging again, not a pitch and putt.
Well, and I think you also have to think about it like this as well, too. So if golf ball is going too far, that means we're hitting the golf ball too far, so our scores are too low. Okay, if we have a golf ball problem with it going too far, there has to be some end result to why it's going too far. So our scores must be too low. The game's getting too easy. Can you complete a golf hole with just hitting a tee shot?
No.
Actually, you can. You can have a hole in one,
sure,
right?
Yeah.
But that's a rare occasion. Okay, so most 99.9% of the golf holes we're going to play, we're going to have to use what golf club in our bag to complete that hole? Putter. Okay. What has changed about golf course maintenance over the last 15, 20, 30 years?
Oh, well, a lot. That can be.
But talking about the putting green.
They've gotten faster.
They've gotten faster, smoother. They're just better surfaces to putt on.
Better surfaces.
So why are we shooting lower? Why are professional golfers on the top tours shooting lower scores every week?
They're playing the best conditions there is in golf.
Because at the end of the day, you still got to make putts, and they're putting on the best putting surfaces possible.
Well, we trust me, when we all go play better courses that we know we're going to play better conditions.
Right.
I would probably say, especially you guys probably agree, we typically play better golf. And I always tell my students, especially, if you're going to play a better manicured golf course, you're probably going to be 2 or 3 shots better that round. Just based off, you're going to have better lies. Everything's going to be a little easier.
Sand in the bunkers.
Let's not get started on that. After that nightmare on Sunday. But anyway, I think that's what you got to really look at is it's not just one aspect of the game that's making professional golfers shoot lower scores. It's the game as a whole. We've gotten pretty smart with golf instruction, golf club fitting, how the golf courses are designed and manicured. The game's just getting much better. It's evolved, right? Every sport evolves every time.
And it goes back to the equipment, right? We noticed something with my driver this week in that essentially I lost like 500 RPMs of spin. So what do we have at our disposal now? Is that I can come in here the next day, tweak my driver, tweak my setup to get a different result.
Correct.
Right? Now, that's not an equipment issue. That's an asset.
Yeah.
Right? Because your golf swing is going to change week to week. You're going to have different ball flights, and that's what the tour guys are doing every week, except they're the best at it.
Correct.
Right? I'm nowhere near on that level.
Yeah.
I can hit some of the shots, but I have that same access as they do.
The possibilities are there, right? Yeah.
And that even for the normal golfer, the weekend warrior, the same.
Well, and I was just going to allude to, I think what also is probably the best thing about the game of golf as a whole in general, and with professional tours, is that when you watch those players on TV and they hit those amazing shots and they shoot those amazing scores, they're playing with essentially the exact same equipment that you're playing with at home.
Yeah.
Right? We play with the same golf ball. We play with the same golf clubs. They're built under the same rules. Mm-hmm. So if we end up with a rule bifurcation where tour players are playing with one set of rules and we're playing with another, we no longer have that ability to compare ourselves directly to the top golfers in the world.
Yeah, for sure.
Where we stand.